Okay, hello again everybody, welcome back. Today we were going to be cooking up some beef for my baby. Introducing meats and proteins is a great way to get iron into your baby right from the get-go. I want those green leafy vegetables, but you also want beef and chicken and other protein items. And a lot of people are scared to introduce these right away. You don't need to be. They just need to be cooked up really soft and blended just the same as you would making other baby food. So we are going to prep and cook up this baby food. I do have the containers steaming away here on the side. I put them in sterile containers. That way I know once they're frozen, they're good for at least 2 months. So I will date them at the end and they will be good to go in the freezer and we can just pull the things out as we want them to be. So I have picked up, what do I got here? A organic beef sirloin tip steak. Doesn't really need to be anything fancy. I used stewing beef the first time around, an organic stewing beef, and I just found that was already cut up, but it actually ended up being a little bit more expensive for roughly the same kind of cut of meat. Doesn't matter what kind of cut you're using. You want something fairly lean, you don't want to give them all that extra fat. Although there is a bit of good nutrients in that beef fat as well. But you're not looking for an overly fatty piece of meat, just anything you can find on the shelf. So we have sirloin tip steak to chop up, cook up, and blend away. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I will be using the Oyster Baby Nutrition Center to cook up and puree this beef. All you need to do is cube it up. They say 1-inch pieces. I think I actually ended up using smaller pieces than that. Load it up in the steamer / food pureer, and then I will cook it up and show you the rest. So we're just going to slice this open. Pick out our meat here. Use a nice clean cutting board. And I just cut it up. You want 1-inch squares at least. I actually end up doing mine a little bit smaller than that. I like making sure everything's cooked right through. Although at the end we will test with a meat thermometer to make sure that our meats are cooked right. Okay, so there we have it all cubed up. I'd say this is probably my biggest piece, definitely a little bit less than 1 inch by 1 inch. And I'm going to load those in my steamer / food processor. All right, once those are in there, I like to wash my hands. Okay, so our containers are now sterilized. I usually do this at the beginning while I'm prepping all the food. I just push that to the side and then they're ready when I need them. I keep it closed. And I have gone ahead and got us the water we need to cook our meat. Oh, it's still hot in there. All right, so for meats, we are going to fill this to the level 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll just peek you in there so you can see. There is 3 different levels. 1, 2, 3. And you want to fill it right to the 3 for any kind of meats and proteins. All right, then we are going to go ahead and close this back up. Sorry. You want to line up your arrows. This stuff is not rocket science. And we are going to turn it to steaming the container or bottle feeding warmer. We are then going to put our water filler over top. And this collects all of the nutrient water that comes from cooking up the meat. So we can add that back in later. This is real easy. Put it on the lock and lock it closed. Again, not rocket science. This is the direction we want for puree. So we're going to flip this sucker upside down. Again, line up our arrow and lock it. So there we are, locked and loaded, filled up, and we are going to go ahead and steam our meats. Okay, I've just popped you out of the tripod for a second here. You can see the meat all cooking. In that little cup is collecting all of the juices that are dripping out. And we can use that as the nutrient water to go back in and pure these up at the end. But I just wanted to show you, you can see all of the little meats cooking up good there. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so you missed the beat, but we are all finished cooking up here. So we are going to puree this up and put it in our containers. All right, you want to unlock and lift that up. Flip it over. And our puree blade is in the bottom here. I'm just going to move this forward just a bit so you stay in camera. All right, we have our lovely juicy meat water here, and pretty much put it all back in the food when I'm pureeing it up. But you want to line up your arrow, and your arrow locks on. Absolutely easy peasy. And I will put in some of this water right away. I actually usually take the lid off. It's really hot, because I just find it's easier than pouring through the spout at the beginning, at the top. Lock your lid back on. Whoosh. There we go. And we are going to hit the puree button. This one's loud. Okay, let's just check our consistency here. Unlock, look back in. Still looks a little bit thick. There we are. Well, it's actually really not too bad. I don't know if you guys can see in there. So it's still quite watery, liquidy, and meats. So I'm going to blend it up a little bit longer. I don't think I'm going to add much more water in there. Okay. It's probably good. I am going to add in just a little bit more of the water. You can pour right through the top spout. Blend that out. Always find it soaks it up a bit and dries out just a touch. So I pretty much, other than maybe a teaspoon, used all of the water that came out from the steaming process. After we're finished all pureeing this up, you just unlock, lift out. We can put this aside so that we can wash it up later. Take our lid off. Okay, we are all blended up. Great consistency. To get the blade out, I just unhook the holder from the bottom, take the blade out, tap off all our lovely meats, and I put that over there. Those are going to get cleaned up. And we are going to spoon this into our containers. Great consistency for any little baby. I'm not sure. There we go. You can see the consistency of it. Nice and soft. Any baby can make it through that. There we go. Now just with some tape and a Sharpie, I label these and stuff them in the freezer. And these are good for 2 months. These containers are 70 mils. And one of those will do 3 meals for us. And there you have it. Beef baby food. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks, YouTube.